everybody? I know you've been dying for more home tour stuff and more about our apartment that we're living in here in New York currently. So, gonna give you a little bit. We're about to go through the renderings for our apartment renovation. Our architect and designer Jeff White from O is coming over, and also Rochelle from AJ Madison, who does all our kitchen appliances. And we're also working on this locker situation that's kind of like a dry cleaner. I'll tell you about that in a bit, but really excited. So going to document a bit of this meeting as we talk through it, and hopefully it will give you some light to what we're gonna do and inspire you guys to get into design yourselves if you're into it, or if you're just a voyeur watching from afar. I mean, here we are and here we go. So this apartment is about to get its own drawings. Check them out. Hannah's here. You excited?
Very excited.
Hey.
Hey.
All right, so this is Jeff, longtime friend, architect, designer, the man who made our last place look incredible. We met in a pool drinking rosé, I believe. Jeff was in school, I was DJing, so we had a lot of free time during the day. I strongly believe it's the right thing to work with good people and bring everyone up with you as they bring you up. His career is growing, our career is growing, so hopefully we'll just be on the top together in the end. Right?
Right.
And this is Rochelle from AJ Madison. We've just started working with her. She did all the appliances in our Hamptons house, which you guys saw, and you hated the camera, so we're gonna refilm that, which is really annoying, but we're gonna do. So we're partnering up on this one too, and gonna work a whole new angle and a whole new design. So we're gonna kind of dive in here, show you what's up.
So pantries, freezer, refrigerator, cabinetry. I put the botchis in. And, that's something that we haven't discussed. It hasn't gotten any easier to install them.
I don't know if we should do that. I also like the idea of having like USB plugs some places or whatever.
Yeah. So I mean that's we can get into that detail. Yeah. A lot of the language here, as we know, it's got some character to it, especially with switching to if we did a chevron. And I think we do a chevron instead of a herringbone.
Sick.
It still has a little more like a chevron. And the chevron is definitely
For the floors?
the floor.
What's
So the
chevron?
pattern.
Herringbone, just basically the tails overlap, and chevron is straight line.
And you're already getting, just by going to a chevron floor, no matter what the color, the finish, it already
Elevates it.
in a little bit of a Parisian direction, especially with the proportions and the ornamentation and the molding. So playing off that.
Just if you did that floor in here, it'd look 100% different.
Totally.
Incredible.
Definitely think keeping a lighter,
Yeah.
not like bleach and white,
Yeah.
but a lighter chevron floor will help, especially downstairs if we continued it, and even if we didn't continue the chevron but the color, it'll help brighten it up, right?
Yeah.
And it just feels, and that's also like in Paris, all the buildings have to be white. You're not allowed to paint red. It has to be monotone because it's always overcast, so it helps keep the city bright.
Yeah, which is kind of like if we just did natural and not bleaching it like the last one. That's what you're saying. Our last apartment, we really went white with it, right?
I mean, it's riddled throughout, whether that was intentional on your end or not. It's riddled throughout a lot of your inspiration. So just as a generator for how we can start to finish the kitchen and the finishes, I put in just a light herringbone floor, and then thought, instead of just doing a white Carrara or marble, what could we do that brings in and makes it feel like a gem, that brings in a lot of texture and a lot of color, but still very clean and classic. And then that started to think of our materiality. If we went to a quartzite in the Hamptons because it's more durable than a marble. So the next step in terms of durability are quartz, which are man-made products. Caesar Stone just came out with this one. And it's the first line where there's, in my opinion, the patterning of a man-made material looks authentic. And then, and it works with this because what the value of having the full backsplash is seeing the beautiful pattern marble, and I think that they've finally been able to replicate it in a man-made material.
Yeah.
But it's you don't have to worry about spilling wine. You don't have to worry about you can take your hot pot straight off the, I wouldn't recommend it, but
Yeah.
straight off the cooktop
Right.
onto,
Yeah.
and that's warranted with the product.
Right.
And you can bleach, you can hit it with bleach.
You have to seal it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's I think we're finally to the point where you can have the.
But it's not like porcelain. It's not like the
No.
shower stuff. Like
No.
it still feels
And it's-
dense when you hit it.
And it's
Yeah.
still stone too. It's quartz stone. It's
Yeah.
just it's grounded up with other compounds, and it's called man-made, but it's still a stone.
Right.
But it has this kind of rustic quality to it, but being that it's patterned and it has an elegance to it, and it really, just as a one-to-one, it pairs well
Yeah,
with
with the
a lot
wood.
of the wood floors.
Mm-hmm.
So then from that, the thought was, if we're already kind of putting a darker shade on a countertop than I've ever done, and going a little more traditional in a sense,
Mm-hmm.
how do we scale it back where it just doesn't feel like a suburban traditional?
Yeah, like a full brown
Oh.
kitchen or something.
So, not necessarily rendered out the exact color I want, but what if we went almost like a charcoal or an ebonized oak on the?
Which is not completely dissimilar to what we did at 9th Street.
No, it's just
Well,
dark.
that was a
It's the
gray.
same
This is more of a
finish, but it's-
brown.
or even a black. I mean,
Yeah, or black.
I don't the perimeter sink side, because it's the sink and there is a ton of cabinetry as it is. Instead of doing upper cabs, we just do a shelf. Similar to that, I threw it a little higher, and
then
the
you
shelf is much more for, that's your books, that's your, you know,
things,
kind of-
bottles.
and daily grabs, right? And it's accessible to the sink.
You can probably get an oven that acts.
You guys are not doing a wall oven. 'Cause you have a
Oh,
range.
yeah.
So that's so.
So you could do a microwave drawer that's built into the island.
A microwave drawer.
Yeah.
The
It's
drawers.
very
Whoa.
easy. You just pop it. It comes out.
Sick.
Amazing.
You build it right into the island. It could be on the other side where no one really sees it, and you just use it when you need it.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
You could do that.
Just
Yeah,
like
because we definitely
reheat.
don't like microwaves, but
No, but
we're
like-
loving the one in the Hamptons.
Yeah.
Because it seems like an oven
Yeah.
that
It
doubles
is,
as a
that one
microwave.
is.
Like I hate the idea of like a physical microwave on a
Yeah.
counter or like a built-in.
I know, and some of the built-in ones, they're convection, like it's cooking elements with
Yeah.
microwave technology. So.
Yeah.
You know, like the LaConche was such a showstopper
Mhm.
in at 9th Street, and you know we're obviously talking about having such like beautiful accents between the quartz and the brass
Faucet.
faucet. You know, and then like having like the dark cabinetry. I just feel like we need like a really
Yeah.
Parisian feeling oven slash cooktop.
So you love the chateau when you came to
Yeah.
the showroom.
Yes, this
This
thing was
comes
amazing.
from Provence, France. So they're handmade in France. You have
What if we
chateau.
can't fit it through the hallway?
I measured your hallway already,
Ooh,
and we can fit it.
nice.
Whoa!
Wow.
Yes.
Whoa!
We can fit
Yes.
We can fit the 48-inch through the halls because I even measured the turn, and the turns are wide enough to still get the range through. Especially if we hold it up vertical and get it in. So if you want to do the bronze, the copper,
Get it in
silver.
Well, I just didn't know if that was induction, but it's not.
can
You can pick. Well, you're gonna pick your cooktop, so configure.
Okay.
So if you want one induction, you can have 2 gas burners. You can have a French top to do
Sick.
crepes. So you kind of configure what you want the cooktop to be.
Okay.
Which is similar to instead of doing modular, you kind of have the modular opportunities in this range. La Cornue is comes from like the 1800s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
a lot
Right.
of the older
That's why it's cool.
brands in Europe, they do have this kind of style, like iLVE, you know, Aga, Bertazzoni. They don't look the same, but they kind of reference the same era.
Range
Or it
game's
could be a
crazy.
pop, too, right?
50K to 10K, 12K.
I love a pop of color.
We like the 50K one, obviously, but can't afford it.
Like if you were to pick an accent color among
If they could do that in
neutrals
brass.
the woods, right?
Pretty sweet.
That could be really sick. And that's in the 10K range?
13.
13. May have found a winner.
So true.
Oh yeah, have you seen these, Joe?
They have several
I love
colors.
this. I think it's amazing.
Oh wow, I love this.
And they come in the sizes that you're looking for, 36, 30s. You could do glass door. So
Because I love over here, I'd love to do ice machine
yeah.
and
So you have definitely
like ice machine and wine fridge or something over here could
I
be
know
cool.
you've been talking about
So options for, these are 2 options for fridges, higher and lower. And then we have,
full high, one is just high. And even higher.
Okay, so then what do we do for a dishwasher?
Dishwasher,
So we're looking at doing 3 different brands.
I think in real life, a lot of people pick the best of certain categories or certain things work within a space that other
Yeah.
brands don't carry, right?
Right.
And I think there's something to showing the lifestyle of real people and how people buy furniture, appliances and furniture for space to make it fit and work within, especially when it's something historic looking and you have to.
And that's where it's nice to work with
You have to bring
a supplier,
functional-
not the
Exactly.
brand. And you're like,
Right.
it also showcases great for us.
Yeah,
How
I'm
we can
totally
go in.
unbiased,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
I'm sitting here talking to you.
It just doesn't normally work like
Even
that.
investment-wise, one brand doesn't have the money and development time to develop every single thing someone would need in a house.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? Different brands pick different styles and come up with different ideas, and being able to incorporate that and showing people using them. At the end of the day, this is you living in your home and living in your kitchen.
Even in the last couple of years, there's definitely the stigma where you want, and that's more of our parents' generation,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
you need the whole
Yeah.
suite from
Everything
one
is
brand.
Sub-Zero Wolf,
Yeah.
you know,
And
for
it's-
years.
In the last couple of years, you started with dishwashers. Everyone, I want Sub-Zero, but a Miele dishwasher.
Yeah.
And then it was, okay, now, yeah, and I think we're not, I don't know if we're still there with everyone, like most clients still want a suite.
Hold on, we missed filming this part, but this is pretty, just the most insane thing I've ever heard. We're talking dishwashers now, and Rochelle is telling us about the Thermador dishwasher, which has a volcanic rock in it, which does, say it again?
So the volcanic rock, once it gets wet, it releases an insane amount of steam that dries all your dishes using zero energy.
Wow.
They say it's the most exceptional drying in the industry. And it's also super eco-conscious, right? 'Cause
Awesome.
it's not using electricity to dry your dishes.
Hear that, folks?
And it's
A
smart.
volcanic rock could dry your dishes for you instead of power. That is crazy.
It's also smart, so it connects to your phone. So you can...
Tells you when it's done and
Yep.
start the load. Yeah.
Exactly. You could set a time for it. Also, it's super quiet. It's at 38 dBAs, so it's lower than a whisper, so you won't even hear it working.
Crushed 4 hours of work there. It was a long one. Got a lot done. Saved you from a lot of the details about permitting and co-ops and boards you didn't have to hear, but we're wrapping up. Jeff from Eau Design, Rochelle from AJ Madison. That was a little preview into our kitchen. I hope you got a feel for it. Some things are going to change, some aren't, but that was a bit of the design process and the decision making we made. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Stay tuned for more, because this kitchen, as is, right here, is going to look way different in the future. And yeah, this little guy is gonna get a makeover and gonna be a luxurious entertaining space. 2 big fridges, an island here, a big 48-inch stove there, a prep sink over there, a sink on the island right here, dishwasher drawer. It's gonna be crazy. All right, stay tuned.